Hello, my name is Robin. Welcome to Himdeve development, where we are preparing the best tutorials to make your mobile app development easier and more efficient. One of the fastest growing toolkits for developing mobile applications today is Flutter. Flutter allows you to create applications in one language, Dart, and generate them for both Android and iOS environments. These applications are very fast compared to other frameworks and, from a visual point of view, incredibly nice. It's really a framework for creating stylish, designed applications because it contains a set of components that are directly available and allow simple yet extremely effective use. Flutter, as well as Dart, are directly covered by Google. Flutter also allows creating web and desktop applications, but our focus is currently on mobile development. In this first part of our Flutter series of tutorials, we will focus on creating a WebView for any website available on the internet and running it in our own application. In this first application, we will use the easiest way to create a WebView application. This means that please do not expect any extra advanced programming techniques right away. However, we will further modify the application in the following sections and add other interesting functionality. This tutorial is built in a way that counts on at least some knowledge of object-oriented programming. Also, the basic Dart syntax is not discussed here. So let's go for it. In this tutorial, we will use VS Code. After running VS Code, run terminal on Windows Ctrl+Shift+Y, on Mac Command+Shift+Y, and write the following command to create a project with defined package name and project name. This command strictly limits the use of lowercase letters and avoids spaces. It also creates a Swift project for iOS and Kotlin project for Android. Then we open the project, File, Open folder, and we will select our application folder. Let's create a .vs Code folder where we create the settings.json file. You may need to skip this step, it's just to customize the size of the text for this tutorial. Okay, let's open the pubspec.yaml file and define dependencies we need for our project. In this case, we need dependencies for the WebView package. You can copy it from our website himdeve.com. At this time, the latest version of the WebView package is 0.3.18+1. You can find details about what exactly means the whole numbering of this version on our website for this tutorial. To install these dependencies, you need to write the Flutter packages get command to the terminal, or, in our case, just save the file on Windows Ctrl+S, on Mac Command+S. Next, we are interested in these three folders, lib, Android and iOS, especially the lib folder where our entire Flutter project is created. The Android version of our Flutter project is generated in the Android folder and the iOS version in the iOS folder. Sometimes we will have to modify each generated versions for Android or iOS to run properly on their platforms. In this case, for WebView, the following settings need to be added. We will go to the Android folder, then App, then Source, then Main, and then Android Manifest. And here we will add Android uses clear text traffic, and we will set the value to true. For Android to be able to open WebView web pages that do not have an SSL certificate, that is, do not have HTTPS encrypted hypertext transfer protocol, but only transmit data via simple text communication over HTTP, you must set clear text transfer to true in Android manifest.xml file from Android version 9, API level 28. Okay, save it, and let's go for the iOS settings. we will open iOS folder, runner, and info.playlist file, which is something like manifest for Android. In order to run WebView on iOS platform, it is necessary to enable embedded views in info.playlist file, in this case the WebViews. You can copy-paste the code from our website. As for the iOS, you also need to enable the launch of websites in WebView that do not have an SSL certificate by adding NS app transport security key to info.playlist file. However, I do not recommend adding these settings, especially for iOS, because if you set the keys value to true, you must supply a justification during App Store review. This, of course, makes it unnecessarily difficult for a delivery of the application to your customer. Okay, so now let's go for Flutter coding. By default, there is a main.dart file in the Flutter lib folder. This file is our app entry file, and the void main method is our entry point for entire Flutter application. In this case, what we want to do is run the application. This is done by the run app method. It has a widget as a parameter. At this point, it is good to say that all UIs in Flutter is a widget. Whatever component you create is actually a widget, and every widget is of course a representation of some class in Dart. In fact, each widget is created using the Flutter render tree, which is a certain low-level rendering system based on a tree of objects that are inherited from rendered objects. However, most programmers will not directly interact with this rendering tree, but will instead use widgets that are created using this rendering tree. In this case, our first widget is stateless widget, which has a built-in method called build that returns a tree or a hierarchy of other widgets. Flutter works more like a game engine. The user interface is built and rendered on a canvas as it changes using the build widget method. Flutter updates the user interface at 60 frames per second. In our case, we are going to render the Material app widget first. Material is a visual design language that is standard for mobiles and web. Flutter offers a rich set of widgets for material design. Of course, you can also use the Cupertino app widget, which represents the Cupertino design of iOS apps, and it is also possible to combine both designs together. We can then delete all comments here. Also, we can delete my homepage widget. To the home attribute, we set a new widget in this widget hierarchy, in our case shop page, and it will have no construct arguments. Then we set a title for this application, in our case Himdeve shop, and for the theme we will use blue color style swatch. Okay, next. As we can see, we need to create a shop page widget. However, it would be much better to structure the project in a proper way. So in the lib folder, we will create features folder, inside of it a presentation layer, and then the pages folder. And then we create shop_page.dart file. Next, we define the page name shop page. It will be a widget which will extend again the stateless widget, and it has a constructor and the build method that returns another widget which is a container right now, and it can have a child, and that will be our WebView. First, we need to import the stateless widget from Material Design package. And then we will create a method to build the WebView widget. By using underscore, you can define a private methods in Flutter. So we create an underscore build WebView method which returns a WebView. We imported the WebView widget from the WebView_Flutter dependency package that we defined in the pubspec YAML file. WebView has several attributes, but in this first example we will focus only on two of them: JavaScript mode and initial URL. Initial URL defines the URL of the web page we want to display, and JavaScript mode.unrestricted allows JavaScript to run in WebView. We define initial URL to our shop page, which is https himdeve.eu. And we made a small typo here. JavaScript mode has to be with a lowercase j. Then we go back to main.dart file and we will import our shop page class. And then we can launch the project by pressing F5 in VS Code or by flutter run command in the terminal. So this is our store, and this completes our first application, and you can of course find the source code on GitHub. Finally, I would like to mention the amazing tutorials you can find on the site flutter.education, created by Matej Rešetár from RisoCoder. With this, thank you very much for listening to this tutorial from Himdeve Development, and I wish you a happy coding. Please don't forget to subscribe on our channel to get the latest tutorials for development in Flutter. Bye bye.